Okay, so I'm just jumping on to unwrap a few of my feelings that are coming up for me at the moment. Today Lucas is 6 and it's his birthday, and for me so many feelings come up, and I was sitting up at about midnight last night just reflecting over how it all panned out 6 years ago and what was going on for me. And I at 34 weeks James was over at work, and he was FIFO, and he was quite a long way away, and we were in Cairns, and we'd recently moved. We had this whole house to unpack. He'd gone over to do a swing, and a couple of days before he was due to come back, I was like, something feels different. Like, my belly feels different. I feel like this baby is gonna drop out. And he's like, oh, it's okay, darling. I'll be home soon. And they're there. And given like our experience with Haley, gosh, she gone heaps overdue. So I was like, 34 weeks, man, I gotta hang in there. Here we are. It's the last bloody leg of the journey now. Yeah, so, but still, I just had this weird feeling. I'm like, I feel like this baby wants to come soon. Anyway, I remember taking like my last photo, because I was taking, the token weekly photos. So the last photo that I have of me pregnant with Lucas was the 34-week one. And then, yeah, James flew in. I'm pretty sure it was a Friday, 4 a.m. He flew in and picked him up off the red eye. Haley and I get up, set our alarm. But we loved our airport pickups because we got to see Daddy. And he'd come off night shift, so he was a bit tired, had done a red eye. He used to sleep on the airport floors back then. We're driving home from the airport, and this car runs a red light, and it just really shocked me, like nearly hit us. And then we were like, okay, maybe there's all these drunk people out or whatever, because you're driving around at 4 o'clock in the morning, you don't know what's going on, and we're driving smack bang through the city. So went home. I remember us having a bit of a catch up, and we were both like really tired, and just started to decide, you know what, let's all just go back to bed. In those days, all three of us used to jump into bed and cuddle. So jumped back into bed, woke up like contracting and feeling a bit uncomfortable and a bit like, oh, this hurts. But then, given that I'd done that with Haley and I'd had so many false alarms and I'd been to hospital so many times, and I knew that every time you go there they'd want to check you, and ultimately you end up going home without the baby and being told to come back when things progress. So I was a bit like, yeah, whatevs, we'll just leave this. But it was a bit persistent. It kept going. So by that stage, it's getting to be around, I'd say 10 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, I'll just call my local GP's office. They'll tell me what to do. Maybe I'll just come in and go there, because I had a really nice doctor. I'm like, I'll just go there to the nurse's clinic, and they'll like, yeah, you're fine. Off you go. So I called them, and they were like, no, you've got to go to hospital. I'm like, damn it. And I was doing the whole, are they just sending me there because I'm a pregnant lady that's saying trying to work out, is this a thing or is this not a thing? You try and tough it out, but then you're like, So off we go, and we go in as a family. We've got Haley with us, and like hell, I want to be separated at this point because James has only just flown back in. And then we spend pretty much most of the day in birth suite, and just hanging out. They've hooked me up to all of the monitors. It's pretty nice because Haley's, she's there and she's chatting nonstop, and she's got her little ladybug bracelet, and we're just enjoying the last moments, I guess, that we have as a family of 3, and thinking anytime they're just going to be like, okay, we've done all of our tests. We know that hospitals take their time, and off you go back home, come back again in 5-6 weeks, 7 weeks, however long it takes. But that didn't happen. So things started to step up a bit more, and then they were like, okay, I think you need to make arrangements for your daughter. And we're like, oh, okay. So I remember calling Lisa, and Lisa came in, like, as she always does, no notice at all, just stepped up, came in, grabbed Bug. I don't think she even had a car seat or anything, so we just like chucked the keys. I think we swapped cars. I don't know, things were getting a bit fuzzy. And James and I stayed there. Then for some reason they were keeping me in overnight, but I was like, oh well, they're just monitoring me. So what I thought was going to happen was I would stay there overnight, and then in the next morning I'd go home. So by the time James got home, it was pretty late. I think he called Lisa. Lisa was like, Hayley's fine. She's had dinner. She's already fallen asleep. Just pick her up in the morning. He's like, oh, that'd be great. I'm going to go in and pick up Katie in the morning. And, yeah, that would be fantastic. And we'll go in, pick up Hayley, and we'll pick up Katie and then go and grab Hayley afterwards. Yeah, didn't happen like that. In the morning when he picked me up, yeah, I went from, I should be home soon, to everything happening really fast back in birth suite, because they'd moved me to the ward overnight. And I remember just like sleeping to the sound of Lucas's heartbeat and the machine sound. It's kind of like this nice little pattern, and I did get a good night's sleep. But yeah, Lucas was going to be my VBAC baby, because I'd had, such a shitty traumatic experience with Hayley and the whole Caesar thing, that I really wanted my natural fairy, unicorn, magic, rainbows, water, hypno, birthing, all the things, that was me. I wanted it. But I was like, I'll be flexible this time. I just, got told how much of a risk I was and the risk of a scar and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, meh, I'm going to do me. So the doctors knew that, and they knew that I was pretty stubborn. So, yeah, off we went, and things got tough. And I stayed persistent as long as I could. However, then I started getting really sick again. And then it was like flashbacks of labour with Hayley, and they were trying to get lines in, and I just remember like then starting to vomit everywhere, and just happened really, really fast. And before we knew it, they were sort of saying, oh, look, we believe you've got infected waters. I had all of this pain like in my belly, but it wasn't even like contraction pain. It was just like abdomen pain. It was, anyway, it's weird. It's a long time ago now, so it's always hard in these moments to remember. So I remember James kind of getting in, expecting that he was going to take me home, to it being like all systems go. And, stubborn Katie being like, no, I'm not going down the Caesar route again. Until like looking over at the heart rate monitor, and I don't even know how much time to put it into context, but I remember his little heart rate was up nearly 200 beats per minute, and all of a sudden the room was filled with people, and it was all systems go, and they're pulling on the stockings, and when these things happen fast to the emergency Caesars, they happen fast. So I'm like, yeah, of course, okay, I've been here before, let's go, let's do this. And they're talking to me, and they're saying, it's early, it's a bit early, but we've got a special care team here, and they'll be standing by. And I'm not really getting any of this at this point. I'm really sick, and I'm vomiting, and I've got fevers, and I'm just okay, do what you got to do. Like, let's not chat about it. So get over into surgery, and I'm getting wheeled away. And I remember this lovely nurse, I think James will remember, her name's Kim, and we're trying to go in an elevator, and someone tried to cut her off, and she just went psycho. Move, we gotta get down to surgery now, move. So I'm like, oh, she's assertive, I like her. That's the kind of person I want. And then I'm like in this room, and all of a sudden I'm seeing all these familiar people, and I've got the same people that I had with Hayley 2 years later, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Hey, friends. And then, they send James out, they bring him back in, all the things, we're all gowned up, kitted up, ready to go. I remember all the pulling and the tugging and the normal C-section stuff, and then I remember, like, Lucas coming out, but they didn't do the whole, hey, he's a boy, congratulations, da-da-da. Like, it was just, okay, there's your baby, hang on, he's going over there. And everything was just kind of stopping, and I didn't know what was happening, and it was really quiet, like super quiet, like not the noise that you'd expect to hear when a baby's just been born. So there was just like silence, and then there was lots of doctors over and they were taking him over, and then like I heard a cry. I think I heard a cry, but I was like, oh, there he is. And I think James said something like he's a little boy, and then someone quickly came up to me, there's a little boy, he needs some help. We're going to get him out of here. And James, I just decided, go, just go. So James went, and there we go, I just had another baby. Yay for me. Alone in a surgery room. And that's what I remember from my birth experience for Lucas. And, yeah, those moments are hard. They're really hard for a mum. Having a C-section is hard. It's not glamorous, but having an emergency one and having that element of fear and not really knowing what's happening and being kept out of the loop, that's super hard. Having an amazing person like James there that just, you know, when he needs to go, he goes. So I knew that whatever was happening, he was the best person there across it. So yeah, it wasn't until later I, went through recovery. I don't even think I got to see James this time in recovery. He was just spending all his time up there, and he was getting the education of his life up at special care, and they were hooking Lucas up to CPAP, and gosh, just totally different birthing experience. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to cut this off and maybe take it from there, but just try and capture these videos as they come back. But yeah, that was the start, and that was Lucas's birthday, and I might even have to check and clarify with James, because I don't even recall whether I got to see him that day, or if it was that night, or if it was the next day. So I might have to do some double checking there and do another one when I get myself together. Plus, I'm sitting in my car having a cry. All these moments are catching up with me. I don't know what time it is. Maybe it's the time that it was all happening. Not sure, but I need to go and do some grocery shopping and buy some food for Lucas to have enough food for his birthday today. Anyway, just time to get it all out as I'm thinking of it, I think. Work through all the emotions, because this is our life. This is our story. These are the things that we need to share with people. These are the things that we don't need to keep locked up and repressed and squash them down because other people are uncomfortable with them. And the idea of me doing this video is not, to be a victim and not to get anybody's sympathy, but it's simply just my little video diary, my way of working through whatever I'm going through at the time, and might resonate with some people, might not. That's perfectly okay. Today, in this moment, 12th of October 2019, have a 6-year-old little boy, and I'm doing some reflection about the day that he was born. So thanks for that.